Mayor French, you're all by yourself, are you?
All by myself. It's great to be back, but it's lonely in here. I'd sooner have everybody here, believe me.
Yeah, there's quite the echo there.
Is that right?
No, you're okay.
So we got everybody on board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Everybody's in attendance. Okay, first of all, call to order the meeting of June 16, 2020 at 6 o'clock. And just for the rest of the summer, just let people know who are listening that for the rest of the summer, we're going to be starting our regular meetings at 6 for this one, July and August. So first of all, the adoption of agendas and minutes, the adoption of the meeting agenda for June 16, 2020.
Christine,
Second.
Okay, Christine and Kirk. I think Councillor Uden, Councillor Butler first. Adoption of the meeting minutes of May 19, 2020.
So moved.
Councillor Tilley, seconded by
Percy.
Councillor Bursey. Business arising from previous minutes. Visitors, presentations, and petitions. Unfortunately, we don't have any visitors. I'll certainly do some proclamations that we have here. First of all, a proclamation for National Indigenous Peoples Day. Whereas the Constitution of Canada recognizes the existing rights of the Indigenous people of Canada, whereas in the Constitution of Canada, Indigenous people of Canada include the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people of Canada. Whereas Prime Minister Trudeau has declared June 21st as National Indigenous Peoples Day in honor, recognition, and celebration of the valuable contributions made by the Indigenous peoples of Canada to Canadian society. And whereas many Indigenous peoples celebrate the summer solstice, which has important symbolism to their cultures, therefore, I, Mayor Terry French of the town of Conception Bay South, proclaim June 21st, 2020 as National Indigenous Peoples Day and urge my fellow citizens to recognize the contributions of Indigenous people in our community. Next one we have is age-friendly Conception Bay South resolution. Whereas Newfoundland and Labrador's population is aging and the province of Newfoundland and Labrador has committed to work with individuals and families, municipalities, the private and not-for-profit sectors, and communities to meet the changing needs of an aging population. Whereas the aging of the population will have significant implications for society and the sustainability of Newfoundland and Labrador's communities. Whereas Conception Bay South believes that all community residents, including older persons and persons with disabilities, deserve a fully and meaningful participate in and contribute to the social and economic fabric of our town. Whereas there are numerous social and economic benefits to build a community that is inclusive and meets the changing needs of residents as they age. Therefore, I, Terry French, Mayor of Conception Bay South, do hereby resolve that the town of Conception Bay South actively participates, supports, promotes, and works to assess and improve accessibility and inclusion for older persons, persons with disabilities, and for the community as a whole. Next one we have is Recreation Month. Whereas the town of Conception Bay South recognizes that recreation enhances quality of life, active living, and lifelong learning, helps people to live happier and longer, develops creativity, and builds healthy bodies and positive lifestyles. And whereas recreation provides opportunities for personal growth and development for people of all abilities and can be easily helpful to people living with disabilities. And whereas our parks, open spaces, and trails ensure ecological sustainability, provide space to enjoy nature, help maintain clean air and water, and preserve plant and animal wildlife. And whereas recreation is an important contributor to community economic development, which creates jobs, fosters tourism, and makes communities more attractive places in which to live, learn, work, and play. Therefore, the town of Conception Bay South does hereby proclaim the month of June to be Recreation Month. And the next one we have is Municipal Awareness Day. Whereas municipal government is responsible for the provision of services that enhance the quality of life of its citizens, and whereas dedicated mayors, councillors, and staff are essential for the effective governance of their municipalities, and whereas citizen involvement is essential for an active community, and whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize and encourage the contribution of all who work diligently for the improvement of our municipalities, therefore be it proclaimed that June 24th, 2020 be known as Municipal Awareness Day in municipalities of Newfoundland and Labrador, in recognition of the vital role of municipal government and in recognition of all whose efforts support it. And that's it for the proclamations for this evening. So moving on, new business. So we'll start off with Councillor Uden. Oh, sorry, Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I don't have nothing to add at this time. Thank you.
Your
All right,
worship,
Councillor Uden.
one quick one. This Thursday, we're going to open up our summer day camp registration. This year will be at a reduced capacity as per the guidelines with Health and Community Services. I know council as an entirety met several times over the last couple of weeks to try to figure out some alternative arrangements. There are limitations within the town in terms of space. We have no longer access to schools. And I guess we've tried to do it best we can. And as restrictions lift, we'll continue to look to add more children, but we want to do that in a safe way. So our system opens at 6 p.m. for online on Thursday night. And I'm sure there'll be parents who are returning to work that will certainly want to register kids, and the camp will last 6 weeks. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. Councillor Tilley.
We can't hear you, Gerard.
That's because I was on mute, Councillor Butler. Thank you. I just want to send a shout out to the work crews on Legion Road. It looks like that project is nearing its end. Paint crews are up there today, painting on the crosswalks and all the arrows. So looks like the Legion Road project will be finished pretty soon.
Good stuff. Councillor Hillier.
No, Your Worship, I'm going to pass this evening. Thank you.
Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to give an update regarding the noise, speed, and traffic issues that we've been dealing with on Topsail Beach Road over the past few weeks. As a council, we've met twice specifically to deal with this issue and with a view to improving the situation for the residents in the area, while, of course, allowing access to one of our most treasured sites in the town, Topsail Beach. As I noted at last council meeting, there have been numerous concerns raised by residents, and council's been reviewing those. And many council have had conversations with residents that live in the area. So over the past 2 weeks, we've installed an LED sign encouraging slow speeds and respect for area residents. We have contracted an engineering firm to review the area for some guidance and possible solutions, both in the short term and in the long term. We're working with staff to have a greater presence there during the busiest of times, warm, sunny days mostly. And this has also extended past the sundown. Staff includes both recreation and MEO staff, and this will continue for the summer. We've also worked with the RNC to ensure a greater presence in the area. And this is very obvious to beachgoers over the past few weeks that the RNC has taken on a greater presence in the area. And of course, this will continue through the summer. We continue to await guidance from the engineering firm looking into this matter, and we hope to have an update on this soon and be able to talk with residents regarding the findings and where we can go from here to help make things better for the people there. And just on another note, Your Worship, I just wanted to say that the work is ongoing on Fowler's Road. And this year, fast and furious, I'm thankful to say. There's a great number of people up in the area working on the sidewalks and the curb and gutter over the past few days, and it looks like things are moving along rather quickly. So I encourage people to use caution and safety for the workers in that area. And hopefully we'll have that road completed fairly soon, and it'll be better for all those who use it and safer for everybody up there. Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Bercy.
I'm going to pass this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Before I got a couple of items for updates on economic development and tourism, but I'd first like to thank the mayor, councillors, and all staff within our town for their dedication to work in the areas of our town. And specifically during COVID-19, I know that there's been a lot of different things that we've had to do and changes in the way work is done. And I really, really would like to say thank you to all the staff who have certainly worked hard and are doing 100% best that they can do given the conditions. Thank you to all of you. Downtown Conception Bay South. If you're not already following the downtown CBS on social media, be sure to start, as they will be launching a digital marketing campaign running from June 19th to July 10th. There will be some great opportunities to win prizes and support local. Your support has never been so important as the economy begins to rebound. And also note the sidewalks are being installed now down there by Tobin's Road to Coffee Creek, and I passed by there today, and they're certainly diligently at it. And our community garden. The community garden is in full swing again this year and will host its communal gardening opportunities on Sundays from 2 to 4 and Wednesdays from 6 to 8. June 24th is the initial plant out, which will kick off the growing season for the garden. Community garden is getting great coverage in the media. They have interviews with NTV, Telegram, Shoreline News, and CBC Morning Show tomorrow morning, actually. Oh, that's great. Council are very proud of this initiative and extends congratulations to the committee for their continued success. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Davis.
Yes, Your Worship. In celebration of June being Seniors Month, the Department of Recreation and Leisure is initiating a Letters for Seniors program. The town is looking for children and youth ages 6 to 18 to write a letter to a senior in Conception Bay South. The letter will not be addressed to anyone in particular and will be a simple greeting to a senior resident. This is meant simply for the enjoyment of connecting with someone through a letter or a picture. Letters can be submitted digitally by being scanned to our town email or dropped off in person at the town hall's drop box. The letters then will be distributed to seniors in our community. Your Worship, if this just puts a smile on a few seniors, especially some of them that are in our personal care homes, it's a little fun that staff came up with, and I really, it's a win-win. The town also will be sending out a community-wide mail-out very soon with important information for seniors, as well as emergency contact information for all of our residents. We advise take the time to review the information, share it with anyone you feel who could benefit from them. It will also be a small postcard size. So it'll be easy to keep on your fridge for quick access to any of the information you need. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. So I just got a couple of things I'd like to point out. Nothing shouldn't take too long. First of all, in the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've had certainly a significant influx of permits, people requiring permits at the town hall. We're still in operation. Please bear with us, but there's been a big rush and people doing renovations, looking for all sorts of things, especially the stuff that most of it is coming from our planning department. So please call in. I know it's most people, when they're looking for this stuff, are in a rush. Leave a message and staff will get back to you. I know it's you need some patience sometimes dealing with all this stuff, but it's certainly a requirement. I know there's hoops that sometimes you feel like you have to jump through, but please bear with us. Call in and staff will get back to you and get it done as fast as we possibly can. But I just want to let people know that there is a big influx, and staff are doing their best to turn most of this around as quick as they can. The next thing I wanted to mention, the opening of the building, as you can see here tonight, or probably recognized, I'm here in the chamber. I'm here by myself, unfortunately, but that's all because of COVID-19, of course. And we're still, although we've opened up to staff coming into the building, it's still obviously closed to the general public. And we have a very small complement of staff at the building. People are still, although they are still working from home, certainly, and doing what they have to do. We're going to try to open this obviously as quick as we possibly can, but again, we have to take the advice of the chief medical officer and follow the guidelines and restrictions that they put in place. But have no worries that staff are working on a plan and have developed a plan so far for people coming back and forth here. And as soon as we can safely open it, based on the advice that we're given by the chief medical officer, obviously we'll open. So, you know, as though we all seem to think that, you know, we only have one case now in the province and it's great news, let's get back to normal. But I think it's important that we listen to the experts on this one, and that would be, of course, the Department of Health and the Chief Medical Officer, the Premier, and that's where we're taking our leadership from, if you will, and based on the safe health practices that they announced on a day-to-day basis. So as soon as as possible, we'll be open on a full-time basis, but we'll move it along. We've opened some of our facilities now on a reduced numbers, and every time that we have another window we can go through to make things more accessible for the residents, then we'll certainly do it. And the last thing, I'm not going to reiterate what Councillor Bent said on Topsail Beach. I just want to add to that, you know, we've changed some of the staffing models, and that allows us as well to not only do a better service for Topsail Beach for other areas. I know, I think of Station Road, for example. I've had people reach out to me numerous times over the years with, you know, similar issues to what they're having in Topsail Beach. Topsail Beach is just probably 10 times what we're having traffic-wise, or not larger than we're having in some of the other areas. But having said that, that doesn't mean that you're forgotten about. Like I said, we have changed the staffing models to hopefully give us a better coverage there, and work with the RNC too, I might add. I know people sometimes don't believe it, but we have, you know, regular conversations with the lead inspector here in the town, as well as all the other members. So, you know, it's not lost on us, some of the issues we deal with traffic, and I on that note, I just want to encourage area residents, young and old, to please be safe and be careful. We have kids out now riding bikes even more than ever. Lots of children around playing, you know, and sometimes they're not as mindful probably as we'd like them to be. So please, I ask all residents to please slow down on our highways. And our side roads, because our side roads, as most of you know, have traditionally, I always joke that they were original cow paths and vegetable gardens that people went, that's what they were. And now, of course, they've turned into, you know, access to hundreds and hundreds of homes, and that have developed over time. So it's, you know, it brings along its own issues. So please be patient, take your time, you could save a life. So on that note, thank you very much, and we'll move right along. So next we have the recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee, Chair Councillor Rex Hillier.
Can't hear you, Rex.
All right, let's try that again. I've been trying to be polite all along, and now I got myself turned off. Okay, so presentation recommendations of meeting held on June 9th, 2020. Number 1, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 3.12 of the town's development regulations, variance is requested to reduce the minimum frontage at 1641 to 1643 Conception Bay Highway be approved, so that the frontage is reduced from 15 meters to 13.5 meters to accommodate the subdivision of the property into 2 single dwelling lots. So moved.
Seconder,
Second that.
Councillor Bursey, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Yes, Your Worship, accessory building at Dunsill Road. Recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 5.3.2 of the town's development regulations, the application seeking approval to construct an accessory building at 133 to 135 Duns Hill Road be refused, as the proposed accessory building will result in a cumulative lot coverage of all accessory buildings at the property to exceed the size of the house at the property. So move.
Seconder,
Second.
Second.
Councillor Davis, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, the issue here is under our regulations, accessory buildings are not to be larger than the size of the house on any given property. And in this case, if this proposed garage or accessory building were added to the property, it would exceed the size of the house with the addition of the buildings that are already there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 3, Your Worship, 62 Flats Road. Recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 10.7 of the town's development regulations and council's delegation of planning authority policy, council confirm approval of an accessory agricultural use keeping a maximum of 4 chickens at 62 Flats Road, Manuals.
Seconder,
Moved.
Second.
Councillor Uden, I believe I heard on that one. Discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, this is an issue of backyard or urban agriculture that we have more and more reaction to over the last several years. And while we're bringing this through in this particular format right now, council is also working through the planning committee and our town plan review to have that built into our new town plan.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Before you start the next one, Councillor Hillier, I realize that this is on Rocky Place, which is where I live. So I have to step out of this one. So,
Your Worship, we're going to defer this one, so we won't need to step out.
okay, perfect.
Right, so number 4, we will, because we've had some further information coming forward in the last week, we'll defer that to a later meeting. Number 5, recommendation, be it so resolved that the town seek approval from the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Environment to expropriate an interest in a portion of the land at 15 Lawrence Pond Road for an easement to accommodate relocation of utilities associated with phase 2 of the Lawrence Pond Road upgrading project. So move.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Davis, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, in these these street upgrading projects that we do, it's not uncommon for us to need land to widen the roads. In this case, we need land for an anchor for a new utility pole, and as a result, we have to go through the expropriation process.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 6, recommendation, be so resolved that in accordance with subsection 201-28 of Municipalities Act 1999, the town provide public notice of and seek approval from the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Environment to sell to the adjacent property owner a portion of town land located at 41 Kirkston Avenue to the adjacent property owner in consideration that portion of land is considered surplus to the needs of the town. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor
Second.
Butler, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, while I bring this recommendation forward on behalf of the planning committee, I will be voting against it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
There being 1 nay, motion carried.
Number 7, 376, 378 Conception Bay Highway. Be it so resolved in accordance with council's discretionary authority of section 10.7 of the town's development regulations, approval be granted to allow a professional and personal service use with ancillary retail uses at 376 to 378 Conception Bay Highway, Long Pond. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Uden. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried.
And your worship, the blanket statement from our meeting, be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Planning and Development Committee meetings of June 9th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder?
Second.
Councillor Davis. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Hillier. What am I going to do for recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee? Chair, Councillor Junior Bursey.
Yes, sir. I got two recommendations to bring forward, plus a late one. So I'll start with the first one first. Tender 2003 approval to award. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to award tender for the purchase of one 2020 or newer municipal street sweeper to Saunders Equipment for a bid price of $380,851.25, including HST. Funds are to be taken from the capital fleet account. So,
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Butler. Discussion?
yes,
Offer
Your Worship.
price. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Your Worship, that's just the every place our road street sweeper that's been operated since 2004. We're after getting a lot of wear on her, so it's time to park her and to get a new one. She seems
I know
bad.
what a price to keep the streets clean, though, but that's the reality of it, isn't it? That's the
Yeah,
world.
it is. Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried.
And the second one is a 2020 street rehabilitation approval to attend the recommendation. Be it so resolved, approval be given to a call tender for the 2020 street rehabilitation project. And that's it.
Seconder,
Second. Davis.
Councillor Davis. Discussion? Discussion? No discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the last one, Your Worship, that's not on the list is the erosion control. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to procure construction services for gateway erosion control at approximate cost of $100,000.
Seconder,
Second. Davis.
Councillor Davis. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Guys, if I could just interrupt for 1 second, there's some background noise I'm getting somewhere. Might want to have a look at it if you haven't got your thing on mute in between. Thank you much.
And Your Worship,
Go ahead, Junior, sorry.
yeah, and
Councillor
before I reads out the blanket one, the Public Works Department continues to increase services as COVID-19 is directives evolve. Street marking, line painting, bulk waste garbage, and water and sewer connections have all commenced. All services are evaluated regularly and will continue to adjust to match the COVID-19 directives. Several construction projects have begun, and others will start in the coming weeks. Please visit the town website for the latest traffic and construction updates and services disruptions. And I'll move into the blanket one. Be it so resolved that the public recommendations and decisions made at the Engineering and Public Works Committee meeting of June 9, 2020 be accepted and presented.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Hillier. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, thank you, Councillor Bursey. Recommendations, Recreation and Leisure Service Committee, Chair, Councillor Kirk Uden.
Thanks, Your Worship. A couple of quick items. First of all, our staff continues to innovate in how they approach programming. And next Tuesday, the 23rd, there's a virtual bingo game. You can imagine what the response has been to that, and I think we're probably going to have one of, I guess, our larger turnouts to that. So that's next Tuesday, and our virtual trivia night will go on. Is canceled for this week, and will follow on next Thursday. The town is also looking at revamping and committee, looking at revamping the 3-hour challenge. Obviously, we can't bring people together to celebrate it at the end, but figuring out a way in which we can provide bags and so forth, and to groups or community members to help with that. So we look for something in the next little while. Prior to reading the blanket recommendation, there is a recommendation coming from Privilege, and we're happy that we went out for a request for proposals for the exterior building envelope for Robert French Memorial Stadium. The stadium is 44 years old, and through this RFP, we'll include such items as exterior siding, wall installations, and a new interior ceiling reflective membrane. This will increase our energy efficient at Robert French. Even though it's 44, it's in pretty good shape. This will make it a much better, and it certainly will increase the overall appearance of the building. We received several bids, and I'm glad to recommend, be it so resolved, that approval be given for request for proposals RFP 2005 building envelope retrofit Robert French Memorial Stadium to Northbrook Construction Limited in the amount of $364,980 plus HST. The funds are available in so noted account. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Hillier, discussion? Okay, how many of you walked for the stadium when they had to walk for that stadium?
Some of us weren't born.
Twice.
Yeah. Only walked once.
I will say, Your Worship, staff have done, like, that is one of the best maintained buildings in, I'd say, on the Avalon, and it's still in good shape, relatively speaking, but obviously the exterior envelope is not, and I think it'll get continued to use for many years to come, hopefully.
I think Deb Bishop told me actually from the start of the sea to the site of the stadium. Anyway, God love her. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your blanket recommendation, be it so resolved, the recommendations, decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee of June 8, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Second it.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving right along. Recommendations of the Financial Admin Services Committee, Chair Deputy Mayor Richard Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I have to declare conflict on item number 1. So I can ask to be put in the waiting room, and perhaps Councillor Hillier will bring forward that item, please.
Okay. Okay, he's left. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Worship. Number 1, be it so resolved that approval be given to approve payment of accounts payable checks totaling $310,000, $310,371.87. So moved.
Seconder,
Second the motion.
Councillor Bursey, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so we can bring back Deputy Mayor Murphy.
He seems to have removed himself from the whole meeting, so bear
Oh,
with
he's
me
there?
and I'll get him back on.
I'm here now.
He's there.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
You're not going to get Claremont that easily, Liz. Where am I? Oh.
Number 2.
Okay, here we go. Ratification of manual checks previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks previously released totaling $207,799.34. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Butler. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Ratification of payment, direct payments previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify direct payments previously released totaling $870,538.42. So moved.
Seconder,
Second that.
Councillor Bercy. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 4 is capital invoices. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $146,405.38 as per the attached table. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Hillier. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 5 is tax and other receivables adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivables accounts as follows, as per the attached list. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Butler.
I'm sorry, Your Worship. I believe I need to declare a conflict of interest on this item with regards to the first one listed.
Okay. Councillor Bent, could we remove Councillor Bent from the meeting, please? Okay, he's gone. Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Hillier. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Your worship, I'm contrary on the number 2.
Number
Just
2,
note for me.
okay. Being one opposed to one of those mentioned, motion is carried. Can we bring back Councillor Bent, please?
Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, it's item number 6. Tax certificate payments. Be it so resolved that the 2020 schedule of rates and fees be amended as follows. And that's to do with the tax information and tax certificates. Under the authority of 136 of the Municipalities Act 1999, tax information request including certificate $150 to be paid in advance. So moved.
Second.
Butler. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Canadian Federation of Canadian Municipalities Asset Management Program. Be it so resolved that approval be given to apply for a grant from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, Municipal Asset Management Program for asset management advancement. And if successful, the town commits to conducting the following activities in its proposed project to advance asset management. Number 1 would be asset management policy creation. Number 2, asset management plan update. And number 3, capital planning software. And further, be it so resolved that the town of Conception Bay South commits $12,500 towards the total cost of this initiative of $75,000. So moved.
Second.
Councillor Tilley. Discussion? It's a job enough to take advantage of that when you're getting 6 to 1 on your dollar.
Yeah, that's a good deal, Your Worship, no question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
The next one is a personnel matter for the Public Works Supervisor. Be it so resolved that approval be given to confirm Adam Gear in the position of Public Works Supervisor as per the terms and conditions outlined in the employment contract of March the 11th, 2019. So moved.
Second, Your
Seconder, Councillor Bent, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Adam as a confirmed full-time supervisor in the Public Works Department, and wish him all the best in his career, and hope that we hang on to him for a long, long time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
Landscaping concept plan for Remembrance Square. Be it so resolved that approval be given to award the landscaping concept plan project to SNC Lavalin at a cost of $9,556.50, tax included. Funds are available in the project account. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Hilliard, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those against?
Nay for Councillor Young.
And nay for Bursey.
2 against, more yeas than nays, motion carried.
Correspondence from the St. John's International Airport Authority. Be it so resolved that approval be given to nominate Ms. Holly Hicks as the Town of Conception Bay South's representative on the board of the St. John's International Airport Authority. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Davis, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, I understand that this is Ms. Hicks' probably second or third time in this role, and all indications are that she's doing a fabulous job there. So we wish her all the best in her appointment.
I just want to add, she's a very qualified person who's lived in our town for a long, long time, and certainly fits in well with that board, especially when it comes to in the construction world. I think she spent her whole career involved in that world. So she's certainly a added addition, and I'm sure the airport authority, based on the information I have, will be more than happy that we appointed her for another term. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those against? Motion carried.
Okay, the final one, Your Worship, is the blanket recommendation. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of June the 9th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Second that.
sorry, I missed, who was it? The seconder?
Second
Councillor
Bursey.
Bursey.
Councillor Bursey.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have recommendations of the Economic and Development and Tourism Chair, Councillor Christine Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one little update before I get into our blanket statements. The town's tourism map was launched last week and has received excellent uptake on social media. The map will also be available in print form this week. The map identifies popular trails in the town, photo hotspots like Topsail Beach, where you can eat, and places to visit when you are in the town. In the coming weeks, a popular street map will also be made available and will also double as our new trails map. We welcome all visitors and encourage safety while staycationing, whether on land or water. And our blanket recommendation, I'm sorry, it's not a blanket recommendation, my apologies. Number 1 is our Heritage Grant Program 2020. Presentation of recommendations from our meeting held June 9th. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to provide grants totaling $12,000 to 12 municipally designated heritage properties within the town as follows. St. Peter's Anglican Cemetery, 1219 Conception Bay Highway, Upper Gullies, 1,000. The Miller House, 2342 Topsail Road, Topsail, 1,000. Oaks Lane Pioneer Cemetery, Oaks Lane, Foxtrap, 1,000. Star of Bethlehem, LOL number 181, 5 Lodge Road, Calagruce, 1,000. Gein Building, 2297 Topsail Road, Topsail, 1,000. Topsail United Church Cemetery, 2426 Topsail Road, Topsail, 1,000. The Herder Property, 140 Cherry Lane, Manuals, 1,000. Kiwanis Club of Calagruce, 925 Conception Bay Highway, Calagruce, 1,000. St. John the Evangelist Cemetery, Rectory Road, Topsail, 1,000. St. John the Evangelist Church, Rectory Road, Topsail, 1,000. St. Edward's Parish Cemetery, St. Edward's Road, Calagruce, 1,000. And the Prince of Orange, LOL number 23, 12 Middle Bight Road, Calagruce, 1,000. Funds are available in account so noticed. So moved.
Second.
Seconder, Councillor Tilly, discussion?
Just a backgrounder there, Your Worship. The town received 13 applications for this year's Heritage Grant Program. 12 applications met the guidelines and are recommended for approval this evening as already read. The purpose of the program is the provision of a grant of $1,000 to be used towards the upkeep of municipally designated heritage properties within the town. Guidelines are currently undergoing an internal review and may result in a revamped grant program for 2021. It is expected that details will be released in the fall.
That's good to hear because I'm personally a huge fan of the Heritage Grant Program. I'm still not convinced that the way we do this program captures really the true intent of what it's meant to be, especially where we're trying to promote people visiting our town from a tourism perspective and a cultural perspective and showcasing our heritage. And I'm not so sure that sparsely giving everybody $1,000 has a real big impact outside of mowing the grass in 5 or 6 of these cemeteries, because that's about all you could get for that kind of investment. So I'm delighted to hear that we're having another look at how we design the program, as much as I am in favor of it.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
And our blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of June 9, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Tilly, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Other committee reports? There being none, I call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Move.
Councillor Tilly, second, Councillor Hillier, I believe. Thank you very much, folks. Good night, and
Thank you. Good
we'll
night.
see you soon. Take care.
Have a nice evening.
Everyone have a good
Good night.
evening.